Test, 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 test.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HTA School of Culinary Art. My name is Chef Karine van Tonda, and I'm honored to welcome you as the principal of the full-time programs here at HTA. I have had the honor of meeting many of you during our interview process over the past couple of months. We are joined today by students, parents, and sponsors of our second intake for our 2-year full-time program. Should you have any questions during the proceedings, feel free to send a quick message through to the comment box where my colleague, Mr. Dwayne Riley, will then be able to address it. There will also be a Q&A at the end of the event. This conference will be recorded and released to all students, so should you lose connection, please do not worry. My team and I will also make ourselves available next week should you want to give us a call to set up a quick meeting to discuss any of the points covered here today. The full-time programs in food preparation and culinary art offered by HTA has been designed to offer high-quality future professionals in the food preparation industry, bringing together all elements of food preparation, service, and management. These qualifications are aimed at students wishing to learn all the fundamental core vocational skills required to excel in their chosen career. Accredited by City and Guilds International, the Quality Council for Trade and Occupation, and a training provider of the South African Chefs Association and the World Association of Chefs, HTA School of Culinary Art is committed to providing training that remains at the forefront of culinary trends. In order to successfully achieve that, we have organized this event so that we can discuss with you upfront and without pretense exactly what we as a school will expect from not only our students, but from our parents and sponsors as well. Before we continue, I would like to ask Chef Kabelo Sehani, Managing Director of HTA Training and Development and Vice President of the South African Chefs Association, to formally welcome you to HTA School of Culinary Art.
Thank you, Karine. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chef Kabelo Sehani, Managing Director of HTA Training and Development, a subsidiary of HTA Group of Companies. I'm also the Vice President of the South African Chefs Association, as well as the Brand Ambassador for Lucky Star South Africa. On behalf of HTA staff, management, and in his absence, Mr. Stephen Billingham, Managing Director of HTA Group of Companies, it is my privilege to address you all this morning for our family meeting. HTA, Hospitality Trainers and Associates, was started by a group of young, talented subject matter experts from all sectors of the hospitality industry in 1995 to address the current and the predicted skill shortage in the field of professional cookery throughout South Africa. Back in 1995, its core purpose was to assess, train, reassess, and certificate thousands of cooks, chefs, and caterers currently employed in hotels, restaurants, and catering establishments nationwide, a role that we still play today. HTA as a group of companies consists of 4 culinary educational arms, that being the consultancy, HTA Training and Development, a division of the business that provides on-job training for persons employed across a wide range of organizations and establishments. These range from clients and chefs with chefs and cooks in the mining sector, banking sector, correctional service institutions, youth centers, and the healthcare sector. Our second arm is our highly successful apprenticeship system, a system that has been supporting and supplying the hotel industry with training chefs since 1984. I'm proud to say that the majority of the key players and employees utilize this unique in-service development program to train their own young chefs. These establishments range from the Protea hotels to the Saxon. Thirdly, the CFP, standing for Chef Foundation Program, a foundation bridging program originally started to assist with bridging previously disadvantaged individuals from township schools into university life and education. And last but not least, based on the volumes of knowledge and experience ascertained through years of working with, consulting to, and training South Africa's chefs at large, HTA School of Culinary Art was born. On behalf of management, may I take this opportunity to thank you so much for your investment into your sons or daughters' further education and for your trust in us as the HTA team to skill and certify these young people in professional cookery. But more so, to give these young people both the tools and confidence to excel in their chosen careers locally, nationally, and internationally. We assure you that your children will clearly benefit from the strong name and reputation that this training provider, HTA, has secured within the industry over the past 20 years. Our hundreds of graduates over the years will ensure that upon employment, their HTA training and qualification will be recognized and accepted standard for professional cookery in South Africa. To enhance the statement, both mine and Stephen's role within the South African Chefs Association further ensures that the school stays firmly abreast of the demands and requirements of today's industry, both locally and abroad. The SA Chefs Association is the 5th largest association of chefs in the world with 10,000 members. The SA Chefs Associations are active member, as Chef Karin said, within the World Association of Chef Society, World Chefs, which represent 10 million chefs worldwide. As previously mentioned, thank you as parents, family, and sponsors for selecting and appointing HTA School of Culinary Art to play the critical role in preparing your children to be able to cope and excel in the world of work. To prepare them for a lifestyle and a career change, God willing, could expand over the next 40 years or so. Your son or daughter is about to embark in a challenging yet exciting career choice that will open doors to endless opportunities in the world of food upon successful completion and graduation. Over the next 2 years, your son or daughter will endeavor and endure situations and circumstances never seen before. They will have to be fully committed, and if they intend to be head chefs someday, employed or self-employed, they will need to be sure about it. They will need to be single-minded in their determination to achieve victory at all costs. If they start throughout this program to doubt the wisdom of their chosen career, then they may be becoming a liability to themselves, other students, and the school. These young students or adults must be ready to follow orders and live with the outcome of these orders without complaining or mourning to either you or us at the school. For all intents and purposes, a good culinary education is similar to that of entering the military. They must be ready to lead, be ready to follow orders. Your son or daughter will be prepared to witness every variety of human folly and injustice without it messing up their heads or poisoning their attitudes. They will have to simply enjoy the contradictions and the discrimination of this career. In the beginning, they will ask themselves, why must I work the late shift? Why must I work the weekend? Why must I work when my family is on vacation? These are all the questions that are best left unanswered, but rather experienced. Your son or daughter will learn to make better character judgment, as this will equip them to be more efficient for the work environment. Your son or daughter, our students, our March intake must never make excuses or blame others at the school or in the industry. They must always be on time. In fact, to be on time is on time, to be on time is late, and to be late is unacceptable. At this school, lazy, sloppy, and slow are bad. Enterprising, crafty, hyperactive are good. During the next 2 years, your son or daughter, our students, will follow in the footsteps of hundreds of previous students that many are now captains of industry and holding down serious positions or heading up food-related businesses across the globe. We currently hold a 100% pass rate with the international awarding body, City and Guilds, in the last year November exams. Our partnerships, friendships, and reputation, both locally and abroad, will stand all our graduates in good stead when entering the world of work in the early 2023. Whilst on campus over the next 2 years, these young chefs will be taught the fundamentals behind the art and science of classical and modern-day cookery. They will be supported by in-depth theoretical knowledge, catering theory, hygiene, sanitation, food waste, food and beverage, French, food costing, menu planning, catering management, and entrepreneurship. These young students will enjoy regular and intense testing skills challenges, and examination. All of this will be supported what is known in education as POE, or simply portfolios of evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, once again, on behalf of HTA management, thank you so much for choosing HTA School of Culinary Art as a stepping stone for your son or daughter's future, and I ask of you that you join and support us as we endeavor to prepare them for a long, fruitful career in professional cookery in the world of food. We look forward to seeing you at our regular restaurant evenings, food and wine evenings, so that you can see and taste for yourself your children's grooming has improved their ability to prepare, cook, and serve good quality food. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you, Chef. Over the past 2 weeks, we have welcomed 30 new students at HTA. I'm trying real hard to remember their names, and I don't think I'm doing too bad at this stage. But as we conducted the first lessons of the year, I found myself staring at these brand new young chefs, wide-eyed and ready to go. I was just reminded again of the huge responsibility that we as educators have to make sure that the passion and drive that is shown in the beginning remains throughout the entire training program. Today, as I stand before you, I would like to commit to you that we here at HTA will do anything to protect your investment, but that we will not be able to do it alone. We need your help. Without support, but more so understanding, our students will not be able to excel in their training. As I know that you were told during the interview process, this industry is not necessarily easy and requires passion, dedication, and personal drive. Our aim at HTA is not only to award our students with a qualification, it is to ensure that our students stand a chance to fully function within our industry. Our mission is to make sure that at the end of the day, they are employable. That is why we work very closely with friends from the industry to guide and assist us. Our students also spend a considerable amount of time in the industry getting first-hand experience of their chosen career path. This, we believe, helps our students not only with the source of reference during the remainder of their studies, but to assist in employment once they leave. Discipline plays a great role here at HTA as we strive to preserve the tradition of the professional chef. HTA students are sought after in our industry because we stand out as a group of professionals who are well-dressed, well-mannered, well-educated, and well-experienced. Today, we are here to make sure that you as parents and sponsors are aware of the rules and regulations of our school, as well as what can be expected during their placements, so that you can assist, guide, and mentor our students confidently and make informed decisions with regards to the remainder of their training program. Please note that all the points that we will be going through today is detailed in the student information guide that students received in their welcome packs. A hard copy of the guide will also be given to each student next week. I would like to encourage you to go through this in your own time with your student and carefully and consciously refer to this guide throughout the remainder of the training program. There is also a return slip that needs to be signed by all parties and sent back to school as soon as possible. I will be running through a few key points for your attention. Uniform. All students have been issued with their HTA uniforms. They will be expected to be dressed in their chef's uniform every day unless otherwise stipulated. Personal grooming and other uniform-related things were discussed with students in detail. Please note that students will be sent home immediately should they not be dressed accordingly, regardless of how small the discrepancy. Students sent home on a practical day will receive 0, and no opportunity for catch-ups will be given. Absenteeism. Since we move at a very fast pace and want to afford all our students the best learning possibilities, HTA strongly discourages absenteeism as a whole. However, any absenteeism should be reported by the parent or sponsor to the principal via phone call or email before the commencement of the day. A doctor's note is required on the first day of return. If a student is absent on a test day, they will not be allowed an opportunity to complete this test should a valid doctor's note not be supplied. All medical issues that might influence the performance of the student must be discussed with a relevant lecturer, as this will make it easier for us to understand and deal with the situation. Absenteeism on a practical day is not advised and should be avoided at all costs, as we will not be able to conduct a lesson again just for one student. The student will therefore receive no mark for the assessment, which would in overall have an effect on their average. COVID-19. HTA remains dedicated to protecting students and staff throughout the recourse of the pandemic. We have put systems in place in and around campus to ensure that our students practice high standards of personal and professional hygiene and responsible distancing. It does, however, remain the responsibility of each individual student to conduct themselves according to the rules and regulations put in place. We would also like to encourage any student who does not feel well or has been in contact with any person infected with the virus to let us know immediately so that we may take the necessary precautions and steps to ensure the safety of all parties involved. Accounts. Our accounts department is open between 9 and 12:30 every day to discuss concerns and queries directly. Alternatively, you are welcome to contact us via email or phone call should you have any queries or concerns. Statements are sent out electronically on a monthly basis. Kindly contact us should you not receive any communication in this regard. Kindly make sure that you use the individual student number that was issued to your student in the welcome pack as reference when making payment. Failure to use the correct reference number may lead to misallocation of funds. It is advised that you keep proof of payment of all transactions for your own reference. Schedules. Schedules are issued to students before the commencement of each term. Please note that these schedules are subject to change. Students will, however, be warned of any changes well in advance. Theoretical days are generally scheduled between 9 and 3, but practical lessons may vary as we present these lessons during the day as well as evenings. Please understand that the length of the practical lesson will depend on the component being completed on the day as well as the pace of the students. Students will also be scheduled for scullery duty on days that they are not cooking. Marks will be allocated to this duty, and students who fail to report for scullery duty will effectively receive 0. Students will sometimes have off days or home-based study days throughout the term. These days are scheduled for students to catch up on study time or complete home-based assignments. We encourage students to make use of these days as it will make a big difference in the end. Holiday leave during a term will not be allowed. Term dates have been sent to all parties involved, and we will not be able to assist with any special requests. Outings, functions, and events. Students will be required to work compulsory functions at HTA as part of their practical training. We also take part in most of the big culinary shows, such as Hostex, Fire and Feast, and the Appetite Fest. These functions might have come up at the last minute, and the schedule will be adjusted to accommodate these events. Although COVID has reduced these events drastically, we will make ourselves available once they are running again. An outing will be arranged each term. These outings are part of broadening our students' culinary reference and is therefore compulsory. The costs of each outing will be confirmed in the beginning of the term. Transport will not always be arranged. Results. The pass rate for all assessments for both programs is 60%. Students will need to achieve an average of 60% for each individual subject in order for them to receive their overall qualification. Students write tests every week. They will complete at least 4 tests per subject per term. Theoretical achievement is fully based on the constructive effort that the student makes during their studies to perform. Please understand that it is quite common for students to not meet the minimum requirement of 60% for the first term practical component and assessments. In the practical lessons, 60% as competent and is deemed as competent and represents a product that is ready and prepared based on industry standards, or as I tell the students, good enough to sell. Their practical marks will most definitely improve as they grow more confident in the kitchen. Students are, however, allowed to ask for lecturer assistance prior to sending out their dishes for assessment. It is strongly advised that they make use of that opportunity to ensure the best marks possible on the day. Results will be made available via our online communication system, EdAdmin. Parents and sponsors will receive an invitation to log into the student portal next week. Please ensure that we have the correct mailing address in order for the link to go through. If you have not been receiving any communication from me, sea@htatrain.co.za, I do not have your correct email address. EdAdmin will be updated regularly. It remains the responsibility of both the student and sponsor to continuously refer to the results log during the term. Over and above weekly results and term reports, EdAdmin will also show and give you details regarding absenteeism, rewards and merits, demerits, and extramural activities, industry placements, as well as interactive chats and instant notifications. Extra lessons are available for those students struggling to keep up with the fast pace of the curriculum. It is the responsibility of the student to arrange these lessons with the appropriate lecturer, as we cannot always distinguish the difference between lack of understanding and lack of interest. Should a student fail to meet the minimum requirements of a test or exam, they will have one opportunity per test or exam to better their results. These tests are scheduled at the end of each term, and it remains the responsibility of the student to attend these sessions in order for them to better their results. Supplementary exam dates will appear on the term report, which will be issued 2 to 3 weeks after the completion of the final exam. Please note that all supplementary assessments do come at an additional cost. HTA's virtual classroom. HTA will be making use of a blended learning approach where we will focus on both online as well as on-site learning. Although the core skills and applications will be attended to on campus, we will be making use of Google Classroom to interact and engage with our students throughout the training program. It is therefore imperative that all students have access to an electronic device. We will be posting daily questions, theoretical work, practical photos, and videos of work conducted, exercises, and assignments. An invitation to parents and guardians will be sent through Google next week. By accepting this invitation, you will be able to monitor activities on your virtual classroom for your student. It is not compulsory for you to accept. Please note that the daily questions are not for marks and are purely to assist as revision for the day's work. Cell phones and other communication devices, including smartwatches. Students are not permitted to use any communication device during lecturing hours. Smartwatches will need to be removed for all classes in session. We therefore advise parents and sponsors to contact the office should there be an emergency, as phones will be confiscated from the student without question and will only be returned at the end of the day at a penalty fee of 50 Rand, regardless of the emergency. Drinking, drugs, and any other inebriating or intoxicating substances. Students are forewarned that HTA will not tolerate any transgressions or tarnishing of HTA's good standing due to the abuse and misuse of alcohol or any other intoxicating substance. To further enforce this policy, HTA School of Culinary Art reserves the right to perform random drug tests on all students and or staff on a monthly basis to continuously ensure the safety of our current and future students, staff, and the long-standing reputation of HTA School of Culinary Art. Parents are not informed when these tests will be conducted. Once a student has been tested, parents and sponsors will be notified of the results. Disciplinary action will be severe and will be uncompromisingly enforced, which will lead to immediate suspension, final written warnings, formal external counseling, and/or permanent expulsion. Reward system. In order to help students make positive choices and create a positive environment, HTA School of Culinary Art has implemented a merit and demerit system to address behaviors and continue to enhance standards. This system will provide rewards for students' behavior and consequences for negative behavior. Social media and monitoring and control. The student is reminded that social networks such as Facebook and Twitter, etc., are social utilities that connect people with friends and others who work, study, and live around them. Anything that is said regarding the industry partner or HTA and it is the establishment's view that the student has acted in an unfit way in the course of carrying out his or her duties or misconduct themselves in their private time where the student brings the industry partner or HTA's name into disrepute, the student may be given notice to attend a disciplinary inquiry for which, if found guilty, the student may be dismissed. Special requirements for religious and/or dietary needs. All students are required to attend all practical lessons. HTA is respectful, considerate, and aware of special requirements pertaining to either religious or dietary needs. However, we require that all students participate, prepare, and cook all food items. It is not required of the student to consume anything that they are uncomfortable with, nor will HTA enforce this. HTA students are permitted to bring in their own ingredients into a practical lesson. However, this will be at their own cost and time. If ingredients are to be brought in by a student, it needs to be discussed with one of their lecturing team prior to the day of the practical. Within reason, please take into consideration ample notice of any leave days required for religious reasons. Kindly discuss this with either myself or Mr. Riley before the time. HTA cannot guarantee that placement will fully accommodate special needs and requirements. Communication. HTA prides itself in having an open line of communication with both students, parents, and sponsors. In order to make communication easy, we supply not only the HTA office contact details, but also the personal contact details of all lecturers involved. The reason for this is to ensure that our lecturers are able to freely communicate with students when not in a typical school environment. Students may contact lecturers via SMS, WhatsApp, to inform them of being late only. Please note that these messages are to be professional and to the point. Lecturers will be available on their cell phones during working hours, keeping in mind that they will be busy with lectures and will therefore not always be able to answer your call immediately. Should a student be on industry placement and experience an emergency that is outside office hours, they may contact the placement facilitator directly. Please assess the validity of the situation or concern and time of day carefully before making the call. Please ensure that we always have the correct updated contact details of all students as well as parents and sponsors. We put relevant contact details on EdAdmin in order to make it easier for you to assess. Student industry placements. In order to receive their practical component qualification, it is necessary to properly prepare students for the hospitality industry. They will therefore undergo an industry placement phase of 10 weeks every second term, so a total of 40 weeks for the 2-year program at an HTA registered and approved workplace training provider. In order to assist with placements within the industry, a list of industry partners will be issued to all students. All industry placements are handled by the Industry Placement Facilitator, Mr. Dwayne Riley. Myself and Mr. Riley will decide on the best suited placement for each student based on their personality, ability, and previous experience. Please note that transport or lack thereof will not be considered when making the final decision. Students who have not attended all of the practical placement sessions will be required to catch up the lost days or that full term to qualify for accreditation for that particular component. Additional charges may sometimes apply. Should a student be absent from placement or for any reason, it remains the responsibility to arrange with his or her lecturer and the head chef to catch up on any practical days lost, even if such absenteeism was due to any form of suspension. An original doctor's note from a doctor registered with the HBCSA must be submitted for sick on the day returning from leave. A doctor's note will be required even if it was for a single day absent. This needs to be inserted in the workplace logbook for administrative purposes. No routine doctor, dentist, or other appointments may be made during practical training shifts. Scheduled absenteeism must be brought to the industry placement facilitator's attention as soon as possible. It is the student's own responsibility to arrange transport back and forth from placement, regardless of the shift that they might be required to work. Any additional costs for parking remain the responsibility of the student. Students will work shifts as specified and required by the industry partner. Shifts are subject to change, and students should be prepared to work long hours and overtime, as well as accommodate changing shifts at short notice. Shift times and allocations are entirely up to the industry partner. If for some or other reason you require a specific day off, you can approach the head chef to request specific times. The more notice you can give, the more the chances are of getting that day off. All leave applications must be submitted to HTA via writing and should only be deemed approved once feedback has been received, again in writing. No exceptions will be accepted. The student will adhere to the rules and regulations of the establishment as well as that of HTA. This includes HTA's dress code. Students will be suspended with immediate effect should the industry partner ask a student to leave their establishment due to lack of performance, ill discipline, or misconduct. Students will only be dismissed from practical industry placement once the specified period that has been completed and both HTA placement facilitator and the establishment head or executive chef has verified the hours worked and signed off the logbook. HTA reserves the right to dismiss or extract students if any discrepancies are found in the logbooks. No student is allowed to dismiss him or herself from any establishment without written confirmation by both HTA and the establishment. Absconding from placement is considered a serious offense and will result in immediate disciplinary action regardless of the reason. The disciplinary measures may include the cancellation of any or all practical hours already completed at that venue and the repeating of the entire 10-week placement. Each incident and concern will, however, be considered in its own merit and recorded in the student's administrative documents. Students are therefore encouraged to contact HTA as soon as a problem arises in order for us to evaluate the situation before formal action is required. Should a student feel unsafe, victimized, or abused in any way or form, we encourage them to contact us immediately in order for us to take the necessary action. As a tertiary tertiary institution, we encourage that all actions and responsibilities is to be taken by the student themselves and for students to communicate with us directly in order for us to avoid any form of miscommunication or misunderstanding. No direct contact with the establishment shall be entered into by the parent or sponsor, with the exception of communicating absenteeism in an emergency. All concerns or queries with regards to placement are to be conveyed through Mr. Riley. Regular on-site monitoring will also be conducted. Students are required to complete their practical placement logbook as long as they work-based assignments during the placement period. The industry partner is required to sign the logbook on a weekly basis. Only the executive chef or sous chef is permitted to sign these books. Students are required to report to HTA every 2 weeks to have their logbooks validated by their HTA representative. It is imperative that logbooks are signed off by both HTA and the industry partner within the stipulated time frame. Days not validated will be forfeited, and students will have to repeat all outstanding dates in order for their placement to be deemed complete. Extra charges for repetition of placements may be charged. Failure to submit the logbook during the prescribed time period will lead to the hours not being accredited. It is important that you are aware that HTA School of Culinary Art does not receive any remuneration for the work done by students at workplaces. HTA strongly discourages that students enter into personal relationships with staff members whilst in industry placement. Disciplinary procedures for practical training are stricter than those for academic components. This is due to the fact that HTA is contractually obligated to the organizations that have agreed to take on students and assist in the training, and as such, students are required to adhere to all of the organization's rules at all times. To bring home what we have discussed just now with regards to the industry and what you can possibly expect of your student whilst they are in industry, I would like to ask one of our good friends and mentors, Chef Beatrix Thornhill, head chef at the Investec Corporate Catering, to spend a few minutes with you discussing what our industry looks like and whilst our students will be placed with them. Thank you, Chef.
Wow, this is a new one for me today. Normally I'm so used to having all the parents in front of me, and today it's a camera. So on the other side, welcome. So just a quick briefing on who I am and what I am. So my name is Beatrix. I'm working for Investec through this COVID time. We're very fortunate. Starting off at the bottom, and you have to work your way up. You can't start at the top. It never works. I have done the roundabouts, the hotels, the restaurants, you name it, I was around it, and I'm fortunate to work for a very, very good company right now and truly blessed. Parents, today I'm standing in front of you just not to smother the chef industry with moonlight, roses, candy, whatever else. There's going to be a few harsh things, but there will also be a quite positive out of this. Your kid picked a very good industry. He has the passion for it, and then he has to live it. It does not come easy, and that I can promise you. Today I'm standing here and I'm saying to you, what you as the parent has to start doing firstly is to support. By the meaning of support, it would be to look after your kid and know that he's taking on a big responsibility and a big role in his life. Chef Karine was speaking earlier on about communication. She was talking about appearances. That makes a big, big difference in the industry for these days. These days, we're looking at when your kid walks into the establishment, punctuality. If he's running late every single day, you start thinking, is he really serious about this industry? Is he just there to get something behind his name, or is he wasting his own time? And that's a serious question that you first have to ask your kid. Is he really, really serious in what he's going to do? I'm standing also here today and I'm saying that, you know what, if he's really serious about this, I want him to drive it. He needs to have that passion. So for us, at the end of the day, we look at how his appearance is the first time he walks in, even if it's just for the interview. Cleanly, he's clean, he's dressed properly, he's looking proud of what he is actually going to do. That makes a big difference. If he's already proud in how he's dressing in his chef's uniform, it already gives you the idea he will strive in what he's going to do. Also, responsibility is the biggest thing. He needs to take the responsibility in what he does. It's always so easy to do a blame game. You can just turn around and say, oh no, it was that other employee or that. No, own up. Step into the part, look at what you have done. If there is some troubles, face it. Don't call your parents and say, oh, they've been nasty to me at work. We are harsh people in a kitchen, but they also have to understand when the pressure is there, when you have 400 people in your restaurant and you have to get out meals, there's no time to smother everything up and just say, oh, it's okay. There is some days that it's got to be harsh. I promise you that. But I can also tell you, parents, where I'm standing today, I did not have one day easy in a kitchen. Not just because I'm a female, because I might have been a bit cheeky. And, you were at some stage of your life, the ego was first driving. Or you might have thought, oh, well, I know everything. Trust me, you do not know everything, okay? You learn every day. You take on everything on a daily basis. And I like always to say that, you're never too old to learn. You might be 20 or you might be 50, but you know what? In this industry, that's a dead given. You can always learn something from everyone. From a sculler to a commis chef to the executive chef, you can always learn, but you have to be willing to learn. Parents, I'm standing also today in front of you, and it's maybe a biggest thing, especially in us in our industry, is when you put your young adults, let's call them the young adults, into our establishments, to try and let them live their lives and not interfere. The moment you start interfering in a working environment with your kid, it takes a lot. It starts creating conflict. Your young adult has to learn to stand on his own 2 feet. And I'm driving this every time when I have the speeches, is that you please don't intervene unless you feel it's really necessary. If you intervene, then it really has to, like Chef Karine said, victimizing, sexual harassment, all those kind of things. I'm not for it. That you definitely can start intervene. But go to the college first and let the college handle it with the establishment. Because the moment you start communicating directly to all the establishments, it just makes aggravation, which is so unnecessary. And I'm not saying do not care for your young adult, but please look after it. He needs to start learning responsibility as well. If we always just get spoon-fed, we won't have the responsibility. This industry is hard. I will judge for that. But you know what? If you don't stand up for yourself, you're not going to make it. I'm standing here today and I'm saying to you, he made a good choice. If he has the passion, drive with him the passion. Help him to find that passion, to make him the best pastry chef or the best head chef or whatever chef he feels to be. Support him in that. But please let him also live his life in his own 2 feet. It's been it's exciting, I will tell you that. If the passion is there, the drive is there, he can go places where he never thought he could go. And yeah, if you as the parent are there or the sponsor are there to help him out, then you know what, it makes this journey just so much better. Communication is always the biggest thing. If you're not sure of something, rather ask than just go ahead. Once again, don't let the ego stand in your way of being humble. At the end of the day, if you make a mistake, own up to it and say, you know what, I made a mistake. This is where I need assistance. Some people always say, no, the sous chefs don't want to help me out, or the head chef is just too busy. Yes, we are too busy. But you know what? When we have humbleness and you are kind, we also will take that time to come and say, what can we do for you? We always are busy. There's no doubt in it. If it's not paperwork, you're sitting with costings, you're having client meetings, because, life has to go on. Despite we are having COVID, we have to still find new ways to accommodate functions and making people's life experiencing food in a different way. but yet there will always be time to assist, to help out. And if you're not sure about something, you want to try something, have the courage. I always say, you know what, if you feel you can't talk to me, find me in a space where you think now it's the worst ever. It might be, but I will still turn around and say, you know what, I'll make the time, not now. And we'll get that time, even if it means you have to go after work or have 5 minutes that you have to cut your coffee short to assist. But please don't ever feel like they cannot talk to us. People always make that executive chefs is unapproachable. That is not true. You know what? There is a heart in all the harshness. Trust me. And it is there at the end of the day. And please help your kid, help the young adult to strive. Buy him the cookbooks, enforce him to sit in front of a computer, to look up new recipes. Because a recipe is only there as a guideline. What he takes and makes out of that recipe is his own creation. But if he's not going to do it, if he's going to sit in front of a PlayStation, I'm sorry to say, but that's not going to help him. So I think today's main focus on all of this is that we are excited to see the young chefs going forward, the future chefs that we are going to have. Despite the challenging times of COVID, despite the challenging times of, the social distancing and, limited to placements. But at the end of the day, I think also that's why HTA is here, that they can support you, help you. And we are looking forward to having your young adult in the kitchens. I'm sure not just our kitchen, but all of the rest of the kitchens when we are fully operated again. And yes, thank you for this time. Thank you, HTA. I really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to these young adults to become the best chefs ever. Just remember, guys, that you do not start at the top. You need to start at the bottom. And you will strive to find the best ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef. And for a first time, you're a natural talking to a camera. A good friend once told me that there are two things that are extremely personal to people. The one is money and the other is food. You would not be looking at or watching us today if someone in your family did not make a commitment towards the personal well-being of others. HTA is blessed to be a small business, but that does mean that but that means that we are going to make it our business to know your business. Ladies and gentlemen, in order for us to make sure that the next 2 years are a success, we are looking at a three-way investment. One from our student who is dedicating the next 2 years for the next 45 years of a successful career. One from our students, our parents and sponsors who not only provide financially, but who will keep our students emotionally grounded, not only throughout their time with us, but also for the remainder of their young careers. And then finally, the last commitment is from us as a training provider. We would not have accepted a student for this program if we did not believe that they would not be able to complete it successfully. Always feel free to contact us should you have a concern or query. We are blessed to be here and pride ourselves in providing not only quality and professional service, but one that is personal too. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that I have hit you hard with fact and figure today, and I trust that you understand that it is not our intention to scare you. Instead, I would like to think that you will appreciate our honesty and that you will assist us in making sure that your young students' career goals come true. If we know what to expect, we will know how to react. All I am asking, ladies and gentlemen, is that you help us to protect our students. The word protection, however, does not necessarily mean shelter. Our students today are used to passing a grading system that does not necessarily instill the highest of standards. They are used to getting what they want when they want. They know their rights and they are not afraid to stand up for them. We live in an age of smartphones, fast food, and instant gratification. I would like to say to you today that we will do everything within our power to make sure that these young, sensitive souls are guided and mentored. It is, however, a job that we cannot do alone. When or if your student comes home and you spot them acting out of character, call us. If you are not sure what is going on, be it at school or in industry, call us. If you would like to have a quick chat or address a concern, call us. But I would also like to ask you today to trust us. HTA has been sending students into the industry for over 20 years. We know what is going on. We know what is right and what is wrong. As we are all professional chefs, we also know what our students are currently going through, having been there ourselves. Today I humbly stand before you and ask that we work together. We need to work together to teach these young influential minds what it is like to achieve something through hard work and dedication, to teach them perseverance and patience, to help them understand that anything worth pursuing, for instance, job fulfillment, takes time. We need to build their confidence, even if it means breaking it down first. We need to teach them the skills of cooperation. We need to show them how to cope under stress. We need to teach them the joy of fulfillment of achieving something that in the beginning may have felt like an impossible task. Ladies and gentlemen, you and I are in this for the long run. We would not be here today if you did not commit. We know that we want your student to succeed, and all we need to do now is to convince them that they can. To fail is not an option. To give up, to walk away, isn't an option either. I truly hope that you will hear my heart when I say, as tough as I have made it all sound, the hospitality industry is one of the most rewarding industries to work in. If we can get our students through the next 2 years, they will excel in every aspect of their lives. They will be strong, confident, and independent. We are all here because we love and care for them. I would like to invite you to join me and the staff at HTA for what might not always be a walk in the park, but a journey that will have us think back years from now, wow, what a ride. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedules to hear what we have to say. I trust that after today, you will believe and understand that we here at HTA carry each student's best interests at heart, and that we can only make a true success of this process with the support and understanding of our parents and sponsors. I would like to open the floor for any questions that may have come through during our chat. Mr. Riley, are there any questions? No questions, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just wait for a few minutes. If there are any questions, you're welcome to just pop them in the comment box. Alternatively, you are welcome to contact either myself or Mr. Riley via email. I will also send the link through again for you to view at any time. What I would like to do then is I'm going to wish you well, and if you want to leave the call, you're welcome to. I will remain standing until if there is any questions. Alternatively, wishing you a lovely weekend further. Stay safe and goodbye.